Comrades, this continent of Africa must be one. I hear you saying, he says, the borders must be open. The borders must be opened.
What do you say to some of the people who say, you know what, we love what the EFF is doing, but the manner in which their leader speaks about foreigners, so to speak, somehow dissuades us?
Don't vote for me. I don't want that vote. I don't want a xenophobic vote. I love my African people. The same way I love my mother and my grandmother. I'm in love with Africans. Africans are hated everywhere. You go to America, the black skin is a source of hatred. You go to UK, a black skin is a source of hatred. You're asking me to join in the hatred of black people. I know what the hatred of my skin did during apartheid. And if that will not make me the president of this country, I'm happy.
Hi, have you ever wondered why Jukius Malema is loved across the African continent? You know, I've spoken with some South Africans and I've engaged some in my videos about Malema. Many have told me that Malema can only brag of popularity outside South Africa. But when it comes to the popularity within South Africa, Malema is still trailing behind the ANC party, which is led by Cyril Ramaphosa. So interact with this video and understand the ideology and the thinking behind Malema's love for Africa and Africans, as it were. Take a listen.
The issue of illegal immigration, obviously not exclusively, but a lot of crime is also committed by undocumented immigrants.
Yes.
How will you deal with that, especially given that the AFF is actually, I think, for the future, you are advocating for a borderless continent?
Well, what you are saying is unscientific because there's no an uncontrollable crime committed by illegal immigrants. Percentage-wise, it's not correct. What is your biggest crime? Is contact, crime that is being committed, is GBV, cash in transit haste, and all those manner of crimes. Go and check who's committing those crimes. Go and check who's committing GBV in this country. Go and check who's mugging people here in Johannesburg. So it's not entirely correct. Yes, there are illegal immigrants that commit crime in South Africa, but it's not out of hand. It is not an issue that is uncontrollable. And that's how we are going to get defeated when we deal with crime. If we don't make a proper diagnosis, and the diagnostic report that said illegal immigrants are the ones who are committing crime is going to lead into a wrong prescription of how we solve this illness. So there's no such a problem. Secondly, everybody must have documents. Even me, I'm not an illegal immigrant. I've got documents of being a South African. I've got an address. Let's regularize these so-called illegal immigrants who are here. Many of them are here because they are seeking asylum. Many of them are here because of political reasons. Many of them are here because of economic reasons that are happening in their countries. I'm not going to join a chorus that says we need to push them away. Many of them are not committing any crime. So we need to make sure that we regularize it. We are able to put them in proper places where they can be located.
What do you say to some of the people who say, you know what, we love what the EFF is doing, but the manner in which their leader speaks about foreigners, so to speak, somehow dissuades us?
Don't vote for me. I don't want that vote. I don't want a xenophobic vote. I love my African people. The same way I love my mother and my grandmother. I'm in love with Africans. Africans are hated everywhere. You go to America, the black skin is a source of hatred. You go to UK, a black skin is a source of hatred. You're asking me to join in the hatred of black people. I know what the hatred of my skin did during apartheid. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be asked that I should stand at the border, at the fence between Limpopo and Zimbabwe and block a mother who's carrying a child, only crossing to get a medication in Musina and going back to Zimbabwe because there is a problem in Zimbabwe. I refuse to join that chorus. And if that will not make me the president of this country, I'm happy that let me die with my conscience being clear than being a president who has emerged through selling out his own soul. Nobody asked me to feel like this.
Yeah.
I feel very strongly about black people. I feel very strong about African continent. And I would rather not be a president because I know for a fact that this is an establishment that is spreading this anti-blackness that we experience everywhere else. It's not true. There's jobs in the restaurants. There's Lesotho women who are working in our houses.
Yeah.
Our sisters don't want to work there. They've gone to schools. They want quality jobs. Not that they look down on these jobs. They are saying, I cannot, with a diploma, with N6, with qualifications, go and be a domestic worker. Yeah. We want more. Who wants to go and work and be paid with wine in the Cape Farms? Who wants to do that of South Africans? Yeah. Let me and you take trucks and buses now and go and fetch those foreigners who are working there during harvesting season in the Cape wines. Let's go and take them. And let's see what's going to happen to those Cape wines. All of those grapes are going to get rotten because our people will never agree to work in exchange for wine. Never will I. Nothing will persuade me. Not the results of the elections, not a gun on my head, not any form of intimidation will persuade me to hate on black people. I will never hate on Africans, not even for votes. Do not vote for me if you don't love Africans and you want me to hate them. I won't do that.
Comrades, this continent of Africa must be one. I hear you saying, he says, the borders must be open. The borders must be opened. Because borders are opened for white people. When there is a white person from Mozambique who can't even speak English, you welcome them. When there is a brother from Mozambique into Nelspruit, you call them names. Yet you don't call white people names. There is no Mozambique here. There is no Swaziland here. There is no Lesotho here. There is no Botswana here. Zambia or Namibia. There is no Zimbabwe. There is Africa, the continent of our ancestors. We were divided. We were divided by the colonizers. What type of a student activist are you? What type of a ground force are you? You say, I don't want colonialism. We want decolonization. Yet you are supporting colonial borders in Africa. We don't want anything that looks like colonialism. We want to be one thing with our sisters in Tanzania, in Nigeria, in Egypt, in DRC, in Sudan, in South Sudan, everywhere else in Africa. We don't want passport, we don't want visa, we must move free of charge. Mozambique mo, let's cancha the passport, they no feta. Why? We are one thing. Yeah? Moswati, yeah. He's taking a lot of women for himself. Bafanas, I'm collapsing the borders. Go and contest him in Swaziland there. The borders must be collapsed. We are one thing. This continent is one. I am a Zimbabwean. I am a Nigerian. I am a Tanzanian, because African brothers everywhere where we are victims of racism and colonialism. They don't care whether you come from Mozambique or South Africa. You are black, they hate you. The best we can do, solidarity amongst Africans. Let us hold each other's hand. Let us protect each other against colonialism. I saw a video of some police harassing a Nigerian in Sandton. I want to say to my Nigerian brothers and sisters, those police do not represent us, and they do not represent the South African police services. Those police, they must be dealt with, they must be disciplined for harassing a person simply because this person is a Nigerian. It must come to an end. Some fool is going to say, but these Nigerians are committing crime. Fine. If Nigerians are committing crime, a lot of them are in Hillbrow. Why are the soldiers not in Hillbrow but in Cape Town among South Africans? There are no soldiers on Nigerians. There are no soldiers on Mozambicans. There are soldiers on South Africans themselves, because crime is committed by us. We are the ones who are selling drugs to our own people. We are the ones who are beating up our own women. We are the ones who are killing each other. And then you hide behind the Nigerians. Stop being cowards. Take responsibility. Stop crime. When Nigerians come here to commit crime and they do not find us as criminals, it will not be conducive for them to do crime where crime is not happening. It starts with you. Stop crime. Stop hiding criminals if you want a peaceful South Africa.
So that's Julius Malema for you. He is somebody who has really appreciated the fact that Africa is one people, and therefore there is no need for people to hate each other with regards to whether they are from which country, whether they are from South Africa, whether they are from Nigeria, whether they are from Kenya, whether they are from any country within the African continent. You know, the question about foreigners living in South Africa is something that has been talked about largely. We know that there are certain years back that the question of xenophobia became a public issue, and South Africans were out there fighting against foreigners taking up opportunities within their country. In fact, there are many allegations that foreigners in South Africa were perpetrating violence and criminal activities within that country. So this is something that led to many South Africans thinking that there is no need for foreigners to live in South Africa. But we know that South Africa is a country with close to 62 million people, or thereabout. And then if you look at the population of immigrants or foreigners in that country, there are around 2.4 million people. So if you look at this population, it is really high compared to other countries. And we know that South Africa is bordered with countries like Lesotho, countries like Zimbabwe, and many others. So these countries around South Africa, some of them have been experiencing poor economic situations. Others have experienced political violence. So most of these foreigners go to South Africa to seek for asylum, to seek for refugee status, to also seek for better economic times. So that is why you realize that because of the advancement in South Africa's economy, many people would prefer to go there and get some work to do. So just as Julius Malema is saying, the call for him to abandon appreciating or accepting black people just because he wants to win an election in 2024 is something that will not come before him and Africa. So he has said that he has an unguarded love for Africa, he has an unguarded love for the black person, and nothing can come against him and black people within the African continent. One thing that Malema appreciates is that black people were together even before the drawing of these borders that separate different African countries. And therefore, by accepting that other African people are foreigners, this one shows that you're truly playing to the desire that the white people wanted. So this is something that is fighting and has worked through all his public speaking engagements to ensure that he puts it out for Africans to understand that there is no need for Africans to be divided. So if you like this kind of content, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and also share so that this message about black people can spread largely. Thank you, and please take care and have happy holidays.